everyone. Salaam alaikum. I hope you are doing great. In case you don't know me or you have never seen one of my videos before, I am Zuhair Adnan, a storyteller from Marrakesh, Morocco, and I would love to welcome you to this story, to my video and the World Storytelling Cafe. This amazing initiative that brings stories and storytellers together in these hard times. And my story for the day, I got actually inspired to tell it because of the weather. The weather in Marrakesh is very dry and hot, and it evokes the feeling that you are living in a desert. So I want to tell a story about love, and why I love this story, it's because it's real. It's not a fairy tale, and it shows people how love can drive one to do things beyond their reach. So, without any further ado, my story starts with a very once upon a time. There lived a young man who did not have a father. His father died a long time ago before he could even recognize that fathers exist in lives of children. And he's poor. He barely makes both ends meet with his mom, and his profession is taking care of camels and horses of his uncle. This young man, his name is Mikdad. Mikdad spends most of his days wandering around hills and mountains, spending time with camels, horses. And Mikdad used to fill his spare time in mountains, training himself by looking at soldiers and knights fighting with their swords, and he would imitate them and do the same until he mastered fighting with swords. Even though Mikdad does not even know most of his neighbors because he's not there all of the time, he had a deep feeling of love towards his cousin. And his cousin, she's the daughter of the most powerful man in their tribe, in Kinda. He's the Lord, if we shall say. And his daughter, her name is Maiassa. So Maiassa as people told about her, she has an extraordinary beauty. She's very beautiful, and wherever she will go to a market, nicks and eyes will turn right at her because she's always wearing all in white, and women back then, all of them would wear black black fabrics around their bodies, but she would wear something different, which is white. She's very distinguished. But here, even though her father is the lord of a very powerful tribe and he is rich and she is rich herself, she does not choose the comfy life and staying at home, but she is very brave. She is always going to wars and fights with her brothers and father. And this actually is reflected upon her personal life. She's until now she remains unmarried. It's because she's always telling her father that I want someone who could beat me in a fight. Let's fight using our swords, and if he wins, he shall win my heart. But if he does not, I will never trust that man, because I cannot trust a man that cannot beat me. So he cannot provide security for me and safety for me. And here, she's always picking up fights with sons of kings and sons of lords of many Arabian strong and powerful tribes. But in the case of Mikdad, he never dared to confess love for his cousin, because A man of his status, he is poor, he is a camel caretaker. He cannot just go to the Lord of Kinda, to the Lord of a very powerful tribe, and ask for the hand of his daughter, because people first, they will say that he wants her money, and even if she accepts, he will think that he is always powerless, because she is always richer and stronger than him. So he buried the feeling of love inside of him. One day, the lords of Mecca, the most powerful tribe in the Arab world back then, they came to Kinda, and the father of Maiassa, he welcomed them warmly. For 3 days he did not even ask them for the reason why they came. He just served them food, and he just entertained them for the whole of those 3 days. And the fourth day, he asked. He asked for the reason why they came all the way from Mecca to Kinda. For sure, it's not a political matter, otherwise they would send a letter. And he knew that some of them wanted actually to ask for the hand of his daughter, for Maiassa, because her beauty reached all the way from Kinda to Mecca. So people sang about Maiassa and her beauty in Mecca. And then he went. Of course, he cannot just force his daughter to marry anyone. So he asked her if she accepts. And she said, "No, I want to fight them, and whoever wins, I will marry him." And then he told her, "I will allow you to fight them, but be sure that lords of Mecca are the last rank. There is no one above them. I mean, you've already fought kings and their sons, and a lot of lords and their sons, but no one could beat you. So if you turn them down, no one will ever come and ask for your hand." And she said, "So be it." And she swore a great oath in front of her father that she will never marry anyone unless he could win her in a fight. So he went to his guests and he told them that my daughter is asking for a fight. They already know this, and they said, "Yes, we are up for it. So tomorrow, early in the morning, let's have the fight. And whoever wins from our sons, he is the one to marry your daughter." All of them accepted. The sons of those lords started preparing themselves for the fight. The following morning, everyone in Kinda heard a very powerful shout. Maiassa, standing with her horse on top of the hill beside the tribe. And she's saying that today is the day we fight, and we shall know that who is coward and that who is brave. And she started fighting all of them. But it seems that no one is making any progress fighting Maiassa. Maiassa is tireless. She's fighting them bravely. Here, Mikdad heard that Maiassa is fighting those lords and their sons. So he went running to his mother and he told her that, "I love Maiassa and I want to go and fight her. This is my only chance. I will go with those knights because they are a lot." And her father, he will not refuse that I fight them, because he will think that I am one of those lords. I will go undercover. But his mom told him, "You take care of camels. Go and do this." And he felt humiliated. His mom is refusing him before Maiassa or her father. And he told her why. Is it because I am poor that everyone should go against me? Even when I walk in the streets of Kinda, dogs will bark at me just because I am poor and powerless. The mom heard this and it really broke her heart. She knew that her son stands no chance against Maiassa, and even if he wins, her father will not allow his daughter to marry someone who only takes care of camels and who is powerless. But she told him, so what can I do for you? You love Maiassa and you want my help. She told him, go to my uncle and tell him to lend me a horse, a sword, a shield, something that I can fight with. So she went there and she only find um, her brother's wife. She asked her, and her brother's wife, she really had a feeling for Mikdad. So she told his mom, just take the horse, the shield, and whatever he needs, and tell him that he does not need to return them back. It's like a gift from us to him. So go tell him our prayers, and may he go safe and come back safe to you. That's what he did. He prepared himself, and then he showed himself in front of Maiassa, wearing a veil around his face, and he started fighting her. People who witnessed this fight, they said that he was fighting like the devil himself, like Satan, because of all of the dust in that fighting field. And actually he was making a progress with Maiassa. She was not having any advantage over him because he was skilled as well. And actually, when she wanted to strike him so hard, she wanted to finish that fight because he made her grow tired. He went under her horse and he pulled himself up and he pushed Maiassa off her horse, and he surrounded her neck with his sword. People went running to her father. They told him that Satan, the devil, came himself, because even men cannot beat your daughter. So the devil himself came and he fought and won against your daughter. So when he went there, he saw his daughter on the ground, surrounded by the sword of someone who is brave enough to do that, wearing a veil around himself. And then she stood up, Maiassa stood up, and she told her father, I want this man to marry me. Will be my husband. If he is rich, I will please him. And if he is poor, I will make him rich. So the father said, I cannot see anything more than what you said. And he asked that man to unveil himself and to show who he is. And when he unveiled himself, the man, the Lord of Kinda, saw that this is the son of his poor dead brother. He is Mikdad. He only takes care of camels. How come he beats one of the strongest people in Kinda? He told her, no way, my daughter. No way I shall allow this marriage to happen. People will laugh at us. You are the daughter of the most powerful man in Kinda, and you want to marry someone who is very powerless. He only takes care of camels. She told him, I have no more words to say. I want him as my husband. Then her father could not actually refuse and say no to his daughter. So he went to his friends and he started telling them about this problem, about his daughter and that son of the camel caretaker. And one of his friends told him, well, don't say no to the son of your brother, and don't say no to your daughter. But the dowry of your daughter is your right. You are the only one who can ask, and you are the only one who can say what is the amount that the husband should pay if he wants to take your daughter as a wife. And he said that's a very wise plan. The next morning he invited Mikdad. So he had Mikdad, they ate breakfast together, and he told him, I accept you as as my son-in-law, but you should know that I only have one daughter, and it's my right to ask for the dowry. And he told him, whatever you ask, I will provide it. He told him, it's not much. I know that you are not very rich, but this is the dowry. I want 400 camels, and these camels should have never been used for anything. Just 400 camels and 400 horses. And the saddle of those 400 horses should be decorated pearls, diamonds, and gold. And I want a thousand ounce of gold, a thousand ounce of silver, a thousand piece of fabric from Egypt and from Syria, and they want this from this place and that from the other place. I want gold, silver, something that even a king cannot provide in a short time, in a short period of time. But you know what? Mikdad loved Maiassa so much, and he could not believe that it's his chance to prove himself to her. And he did not give it any moment of thought, and he told him, is that it? I will provide it. Then he told him, okay, once you provide it, she will be your wife. Then he went to his house, he packed his stuff, he took the horse, the sword, and he went outside of Kinda. Then, as he was outside waiting for something to happen, there was a convoy that is coming from Mecca to Kinda. And that convoy, in it there was 300 camels that has never been used before for anything. And he stood in front of that convoy and he shouted, but there were 3 knights strong enough, and they told him, back up, young man, what do you want from us? He told him, I'm here to steal these 300 camels. He told him, how dare you do this and say that? Those camels belong to the lords of Mecca. You know what? What if you do this? We will cut you into pieces. And even if you manage to kill 3 of the finest knights of Mecca, the lords of Mecca will never let you go. They will be a nightmare for you. Then he actually understood this and how dangerous this, and he told them about the dowry. One of those knights said that actually your future father-in-law wronged you with this dowry. He knows that you will never provide it. But I will help you. I will give you 100 camels and you can take care of the rest. So he took those 100 camels and he continued going. He even left the Arab territory and he went to Persia. And in Persia he had a very dangerous adventure. He was trying to stop convoys and steal the money and killing knights actually. Everyone in Persia, every soldier wanted him dead. But actually the king of Persia, one of the most powerful kings in that era, in that period of time, Khosrow II, heard about him and he invited him. He sent private soldiers to inform him that the king Khosrow II is providing his safety. He's ensuring your safety, but you need to go to his castle as soon as possible. And that's what he did. He went to the castle of Khosrow II. Imagine this progress. Just taking care of camels and now getting invited by the king of Persia, Khosrow II. So he went in front of him, Your Majesty, and he told him, you've managed to make such a commotion in my country and the whole of Persia. But why is that? I am sure that you have a great reason behind you. And if you tell me something that I like, I will give you whatever you like. And he told him that he loved the daughter of his uncle. And his uncle is a lord in the Arab world. And this is the dowry. He gave him a very impossible dowry. But he explained to the king that he is deeply in love with that girl and he will choose death over letting go of Maiassa, letting go of the love of his life. The king fancied the story of Mikdad and he gave him the double of the dowry. And then he told him, just off you go to Maiassa, go to your lover. But Mikdad did not leave the castle. He told him, you give me so much and they cannot just leave your country. Every military man wants me dead in your country, so I cannot simply leave. He told him, don't worry about this. After giving him a very relaxing smile, he took off a ring from his finger and he gave it to him. And that ring is called the ring of safety and wisdom. And that ring was one of the most precious things in the Arab world and in the world back then. It is said that the amount or the value of that ring equals the amount of every convoy that goes out of the Levant and Egypt for 7 years. Imagine with me, like the economy of seven countries in 7 years is only in one finger because it gives you a lot of power. Then he went back. He went back to his tribe, to Kinda, having the safety of one of the greatest kings back then. And when Mikdad's uncle heard that Mikdad came back with the dowry, he went to see him and he went to his house. And once he saw that Mikdad is having one of the most precious rings back then, he said, I accept you as my son-in-law. I don't want any dowry. Just the ring proves that you really love my daughter and you went all the way to get what I wanted. So I don't have the right to say no to you. And Mikdad married the love of his life, married Maiassa, and they lived happily ever after until the end of time. And this is the end of one of the most amazing love stories ever existed in the Arab world. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story, and if you enjoyed the story and you wanted to help us, you can donate in the hat down below. If you are generous enough, and of course I know that all of you, everyone who watches my video is generous enough to support storytelling and World Storytelling Cafe and its storytellers. Thank you so much again for listening, and have a good one, have a wonderful life, and see you next time with a very amazing story again. Thank you so much.